Please welcome to the stage Corey Smith, owner and founder of T-Kits.
A little short.
I'll be back.
So has anyone seen the movie Big Daddy with Adam Sandler in it? You know, that little kid who like hides behind the sunglasses so he thinks people can't see him. That's me right now. got some anxiety, but you know, we'll get through this. We got it. All right. So, okay, thank you. Thanks for telling me now. I appreciate that. So, science says you know your gender by 2 to 3 years of age. I can say for me that's absolutely true. By the time I was 2, I was kicking and screaming every time my mother tried to put me in a dress. If my parents called me by my female name, I either cringed, got visibly angry, or blatantly ignored them. I think one time they even asked the doctor if I was maybe had a hearing problem. I told them to never call me Corinne or put me in a dress ever again. When I was 3, I locked myself in the bathroom. I laid out a towel, made myself a bed, and I was ready to sleep there. When my parents kept asking me, "Corey, what are you doing in there?" I said, "I'm waiting for my peanut to grow." You know, like my brother. I still remember the feeling I felt when my mom explained that would never happen for me. Even at just 3 years old, it was actually heartbreaking. So my mom told me I could start dressing myself when I entered school. So that first day of kindergarten, it felt like forever, but I immediately ran to my brother's dresser, grabbed out a pair of boxers, pair of ripped jeans, and a Lion King t-shirt, and I was off to school. I was what appeared to be a tomboy by society's claims. I was treated like one of the boys. My friends' parents actually made exceptions for me so that I could have sleepovers at my guy friends' houses. Life was pretty good at that time, despite being told I could never be quite like my brother or my friends, that I just couldn't fit in quite. But it was as close as I could get to being a boy, I thought, at the time. When 1st and 2nd grade came along, I was getting yelled at for using the boys' bathroom more and more often, every single day. So I started to hold it in, rather than dare walk under that doorway that says girls. My mom let me cut my hair to chin length at about that time. That wasn't enough for me. So I always wore a hat. I mean, really, like 24/7, I slept in it. I was a kid who was so excited to get up and go to school every single day of my life. I loved to learn. I was in my elementary school's first challenge program, where I was given the opportunity to test out of certain subjects, to excel at a faster rate, learn to think outside of the box, do more advanced problem solving linguistically as well as in mathematics. I took the SATs in 6th grade. I loved to learn and always wanted to reach the next level, break the next ceiling, but bullies literally took that away from me. I was very well liked and respected amongst my peers. I was popular, but none of that matters when there are still bullies that exist. All that it takes is a few bad apples to ruin your drive, your want to live, to breathe, to even exist, much less go to school. I was outed and labeled a lesbian when I was in 7th grade. I was 13. Middle school, probably the worst time you could ever be outed. But on top of that, that's not even really what I was. Yet I just didn't have the vocabulary to explain it yet. The first time I did see the word transgender was when I was 14. I was sitting in a dentist's office. I read about a boy my age who transitioned through the help of hormone replacement therapy. I never forgot that word. I knew that's what I was, and that's what I needed to do. I finally had a word for it, but after witnessing losing my friends when I was outed as a lesbian, I kept it in. I received my first death threat in 9th grade. I was 14 years old. I had to have security escort me from class to class, sometimes even police officers. Other than that, my school did nothing to help or stop the threats. I started identifying as trans when I was 15, only telling my girlfriends. Every single one of them told me they would break up with me if I transitioned. I was made to feel I could and would never be loved, not as a trans person, not as me. So I'd push it back down again. It made it that much scarier and that much harder to come out to my parents. I knew they would love and accept me no matter what, but I knew that they wouldn't like it right away. Throughout all of this, I was also being diagnosed with severe endometriosis. Over the course of my life, I've had over 7 surgeries just to remove the growths. I was in extreme pain about 24/7. I had to be medicated. Nothing could stop this pain. I finally met a girl who said, "That's okay." When I disclosed being trans, I was 21. I was pre-T, and she encouraged me to take that big step, that leap, that one I've been waiting for but too scared for, to finally begin transitioning. So I did. My parents are amazing, don't get me wrong, but at first they didn't take it quite well. That's absolutely to be expected, and that's okay. Because I knew that my parents just didn't want my life to be harder than it already was for me. They didn't want me to be discriminated against or judged any more than I already was. We're a family who has family dinner every single week. That's how close we are. But I had to sit a couple out. They needed some time. One day I laid out a bunch of photos from throughout my life. I asked which one of those kids looks like a girl. It was kind of silent. I didn't quite look like one ever. They knew I was right. It just took some time. They felt they lost a daughter, but I assured them that they're gaining a son. That I am the same person. I'm right here all along. And when they started to see the world around me accepting me, they accepted me too. I have been discriminated against. I've been discriminated against in airports, hotels, bathrooms, malls, even a hospital right here in Rochester, New York. A hospital that I loved, actually. I've been made a freak show straight out of a scene from Grey's Anatomy, but far worse because it was actually my life. I had to entrust my life in a man who vocally hated people like me, my emergency surgeon. I came out 4 surgeries later without a belly button. I think he did it to dehumanize me. At that point, I wanted to die. But with the help and love and support of my family, friends, and some other amazing doctors here in Rochester, I got through it. And I became that much stronger. How do I feel now? Ironically, testosterone cured my endometriosis. I haven't needed pain medication ever since. And I can tell you that without testosterone, without this opportunity, I would have had to live a life of agony, both physically from the pain of that disease, but also mentally as being stuck in a female body that wasn't mine. But now, I look in the mirror and I see that man that I always wanted to see looking back at me. But there's one more thing and one more twist in my story. After I thought I had it all figured out at 25, I finished everything I thought. Out of nowhere, I realized I was gay, too. But there I was, suicidal again, because I felt like I was in my own personal purgatory. I was fetishized for my body, and once again, I felt like a gay man could definitely never accept and love what's below my belt. I had been told I want a real man too many times to count. Until one day, on a gay dating app, the crush of my dreams messages me in the exact moment I came out to the gay world. He came over. He worked for the same company as me, so I thought he already knew I was trans. See, usually I had to disclose it prior to meeting anyone for my own safety, as people who are transphobic could become angered and potentially violent if surprised by a trans person. Not worth the risk usually, but this time I forgot to disclose that. The first time I took my shirt off in front of him, I said, "You knew I was trans, right?" He kissed the scars on my chest and he said, "Well, I do now." Now we're engaged. And we'll be saying I do to each other soon. And I couldn't be happier, honestly. But see, remember earlier when I said that even popularity doesn't matter when there are still bullies that exist? See, that's what I thought. That's how it used to be. But that doesn't mean that's how it has to be. That's where your friends and your peers have the power to step up and stop bullying when they see it happen. If you see someone being mistreated, especially under a Trump administration, step up and say something. Straight and cisgender allies. Thank you. Straight and cisgender allies have a lot of power, and with your help, future generations won't have to live a life in fear or have a life quite as difficult. Support can go a long way. You all have that power. We're in this together. A quote I love to live by, and I think we all should: "Nothing human can be alien to me. We are all one human race. Let's act like it."